Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel Infinity Math. Have you ever wondered if 0.999 and so on equals 1? Sounds crazy, right? I mean, how can 0.999 be exactly the same as 1? But today, I'm going to prove it to you with three mind-blowing math tricks that will change how you think about numbers forever. Let's try to prove this. So let's look at proof number 1. So proof number 1. So in proof number 1, let's use the simple algebra. Let us take x equals, let x be 0.999 and so on. Now I'm going to multiply this equation. So multiply this equation by 10 on both sides. So multiply by 10 on both sides of this equation. So let us see, if we multiply by 10 on both sides, what happens to the equation. So on the left side, as we multiply by 10, 10 times x, that's going to be 10x equals. And when you multiply 0.999 by 10, you all know this becomes 9.999 and so on. Right? Let this be first equation and let this be the second equation. And now we're going to subtract second equation and then first equation. So 2 minus 1. Second equation minus first equation. Then if you subtract both the equations, 2 minus 1, so on the left side we'll get 10x minus x, and then on the right side you all know this become 9.999 and so on. This whole thing minus 0.999 and so on, right? And now here, you know 10x minus x, that gives 9x on the left side, and on the right side, you know, if 9.999 is subtracted by 0.999, you get just 9, right? And now if 9x equals 9, let's divide by 9 on both sides of the equation. So you get here x equals 1, right? So earlier we took x is 0.999 and now the x is 1. Boom, 0.999 is equals 1, right? So that's proof number 1 using the simple algebra. Now let's prove this using the second method. Alright, so let's prove this out. And now let's look at the second proof. So we have seen in the first proof that both the numbers are equal. So let's look at proof number 2. So in proof number 2, we use the fraction argument. So we all know that 1/3. You know that 1/3. So what's the decimal value of 1/3? You all know that's going to be 0.333 and so on, right? It's never ending. And now let's multiply this equation by 3 on both sides. So let's multiply this equation by 3 on both sides. So when we multiply this equation by 3 on both sides, so what happens to the left side? So this becomes 3 times 1/3 equals 3 times 0.333 and so on, right? And now you know 3 times 1/3, that is 1, equals 3 times 0.333 and so on, that is 0.999 and so on. Now do you see that 1 equals 0.999 and so on? So this is the second proof. So in first proof we have seen 0.999 equals 1, In proof 2 also we have seen both 0.999 and so on and 1 are the same. Now let's look at the proof 3. So let's look at proof 3 and let's see if still both are the same. Now in proof 3 we're gonna use, so let's see proof number 3, the third proof. Proof number 3. So in proof number 3 we use the limits and infinity. So let's use the limits and also we use the infinity. Limits and infinity. So we're using this. Let's try to prove both those are the same. Now using the limits and infinity, the decimal 0.9 and then 0.99 and then 0.999 and so on get closer and closer to 1. In math, we call this a limit. As the number of 9s goes to infinity, as you can see, once and then twice, 3 times and so on, as the number of 9s goes to infinity, as there is no end, so they keep on increasing, right? Then the difference between 1 and 0.99 becomes 0. So as the number of 9s reaches infinity, then there is no difference between 1 and 0.999. So if the difference is 0, then they must be the same number. So using limits and infinity also, it says 0.999 and so on, that should be same as 1. So this is the proof number 3. Alright, so we have seen 3 different proofs, right, supporting 0.999 equals 1. Right? So thanks for sticking around until the end. Now I want to know what you think. Do you still think 0.999 not equal to 1? Or do you see it now? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be reading through them and responding to some of your best arguments. Also, if you want more crazy math facts and puzzles that will make you question reality, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new video. I'll be back with more mind-bending math next time. Thanks for watching.